G'day guys, welcome to My Blue Heaven. Cap on backwards, that was requested, but sorry, I'm going to have to turn this beauty around. There you go. Have a look at that. Now the story behind this cap is I actually found this in a bag at the top of my cupboard earlier on in the week, and I didn't even know I had it. I mean, I knew I had it. I used to wear it, but I'd forgotten I had it, and no idea why I kept it. It's one of those things that you probably put in a bag and think, oh, do I chuck that out or do I keep it? And I kept it. Now I'm trying to work out what era this cap is. I've got this sort of funny feeling I may have even worn this to the 1995 grand final. So I'm thinking mid-1990s, which makes it pretty old. You might be able to tell me in the comments. You may even have one exactly like this. But I'm absolutely wrapped I kept it. But I'm not here to talk about this cap. I'm here actually to talk about the last day of trade period and the frantic, I suppose, last hours, minutes, seconds of of trade day, and it certainly is a shit fight. And it is exciting. It is exciting. And the fact that we've already got the job done, we're not going to be involved. We can sit back and just watch. Although there is a sense of excitement when you are part of it and your club's part of it from a supporter point of view. And we know that feeling. We know that feeling. And this video is about reflecting on 2019. And it's not a lamenting video, and it's not I'm not criticising or being negative in this video either. In fact, I'm being really positive and I'm trying to project forward for us. There's no doubt as we reflect on 2019, we remember it all very well. We have fond memories of it, or mate, actually not fond memories. It was a disaster in the end. We wanted Tom Papley. We wanted him. And the beauty about that, he wanted to come to us. It felt good. It felt good that he wanted to come back to the Victoria, and he'd chosen Carlton. We thought at that time we were on the rise because Teague had taken over. We'd finished off 2019 really well. And we were into this, probably one of the premier small forwards of the competition, 23 years of age, an emerging star. We'll never know. We'll never know what we were willing to give up for Tom Papley. We know it was a lot. We had pick 9. That was on the table. And what else was going to get into our football club? Who knows? It was going to be more than pick 9. I'm pretty sure it was. Regardless, it was a first-round draft pick, a top 10 draft pick, which we were going to hand over to the Sydney Swans for Tom Papley. The final siren sounded on that last day, and we didn't have our man. And we felt very, very disappointed and very flat. We remember it because Sydney were caught up in trying to deal with Joe Danaher and trying to deal with the Bombers in regards to Adrian Dodoro and getting Danaher across to the Swans. And that didn't work out, and that held up the whole process, and bang, both clubs didn't have their men. I think we were all gutted, but at the same time, I remember I was genuinely excited that we were keeping pick 9. We were keeping pick 9, which meant we could pick up, hopefully, a future star of the competition, a young player. You know, pick 9 is nothing. It's a great draft hand. And it meant 27th of November rolled around, and we were going to use that on a young player, and that was pretty exciting. It also meant, because that went right down to the wire on that last day in the trade period, that we were pretty quiet through the trade period. We gave up that really bizarre sort of situation where we gave up our pick 40 to the Sydney Swans for 2 picks, 53 and 63. I remember that. Andrew Phillips left. He went to the Bombers. I think we got a packet of chicken twisties for Andrew Phillips. And then we basically used a pick in the 50s to secure Hawthorn, Ruckman, Mark Pitnet. But nothing, because that went right down to the wire, it meant that we really couldn't do much else in that trade period because we wanted Papley so much. But what it said to me was, I think we really needed and wanted a small forward, but we wanted one who was already established. So what would transpire on draft day became really interesting for me. And possibly costly in the long run, possibly, if we wanted a small forward. And looking at the players we ended up missing out on is quite interesting as well. But time, as I've mentioned in a couple of other videos, time will be the winner here. And time will tell. So on draft day, we had pick 9, okay? There's no doubt we were interested in Caleb Sarong and with our pick 9, but the Dockers swooped on Sarong with the Fremantle at pick 8. We then bidded for a small forward. We bidded on Next Generation Academy small forward Liam Henry, who was tied to the Dockers, and they matched that pick at pick 9. We then had a crack at the big midfielder from the Giants Academy, Tom Green, and the Giants, they didn't even budge. They matched that at pick 10. So that pushed our pick out to 11. So what did Sauce want to do then? All right. It's interesting. He mustn't have seen anyone that he was really interested in regards to quality small forwards in that next batch. He mustn't have. Or anyone who he could have projected to be absolute stars of the competition. Because he swapped, or maybe he did, but he swapped our pick 11 to the Suns for 2 later picks, but they were early enough, pick 17 and 22. What happened next was really interesting. Did Sauce think he could have got Keziah Pickett? Pickett went at 12. The D's picked up Pickett at 12. The Suns picked up Sam Flanders with our pick at 11, which I'm not upset about. Okay, I don't rate Flanders a lot. Maybe he'll bite me in the bum, become a really good player, but I don't rate him highly. Keziah Pickett, though, premiership player already, is an absolute superstar at pick 12. Was he projected to go there? I don't know. Will Day went at 13. Okay, did we need another winger, halfback flanger? He's a very good young player. Miles Bergman at 14, similar to Will Day. And then the Dogs took Cody Waitman, another small forward who I think is going to be a superstar of the competition. I would have loved him at our football club. Other players that we could have got, Mitch Georgiades at Port Adelaide, Devon Robertson, Brisbane, Harrison Jones, Essendon, and Chad Warner, midfielder to the Sydney Swans. We know the story, though, what unfolded. It ended up being that we took Brodie Kemp at 17 and then Sam Philp at 22. And we know the story. Okay, we know it all too well. And there's no doubt both boys, were speculative picks for different reasons. And I suppose all picks are speculative, but in particular these two. And we know the story of Brodie Kemp. And I'll just quickly go through it. We picked him up with pick 17. Bendigo boy, touted as a top 5 pick, even possibly number 1 in his final year in the under-18s. Sustained that ACL injury, playing school football for Geelong Grammar. Mobile, tall, 193 centimetre, can play both ends. Missed all of his first season with the football club, our football club that is. And that was the interrupted COVID year in the hub, trying to get his body right. Was on track for an early start this year, then suffered a setback with a serious syndesmosis injury. Then fought his way back through the VFL, showed some impressive form, and then earned a debut in that disastrous game against Port Adelaide in round 22, playing as a third tall down back, and showed some decent signs. Didn't win a lot of the football, but showed some decent signs, and then played obviously the final game of the year against the Giants, where I thought he showed even more signs. 2 games. He's played 2 games of football in 2 years, mostly because of injuries. I think projecting forward, there's a couple of things that really impressed me about him. Obviously, his mobility and his flexibility, number 1. I think his upside is absolutely massive if he can keep his body right. There's no doubt about that. He would be desperate to get another pre-season under his belt without any injuries to really work on that body. Now, the thing that I think is going to hold him in good stead and us in good stead moving forward is he showed enormous resilience in that time. And I think any young player who's been through what he's been through in regards to his body, ACL injury, coming to a football club and then having another serious injury and then working his way back in and earning a debut shows great signs for us. He's no doubt for me got huge, is very talented. We've seen that in spurts. It's about getting his body right. I'm really excited about Brodie Kemp moving forward. The other one I want to talk about, obviously, is Sam Philp, and we picked him up with that pick 22. And he was a bolter. There was no doubt he was a bolter and a bit of a surprise. And like Kemp, he's only played the 2 games, but it's a different story because his draft year, the year in which he was drafted, he was actually overlooked for the Vic Metro squad, but stormed home in the second half of the NAB season. And I love his profile, and we've seen he impressed so much in his first pre-season at the football club that he just, other players, okay, he just went past the likes of Lockie O'Brien. I think that's really impressive. But I love his profile, the explosiveness. We hear about Andrew Russell talking about him. He's aggressive, great athlete, wins his own footy, very good at the contested game, and is a fearsome tackler. And I'm just hoping that hip injury that he sustained this year, which kept him out pretty much for the whole year, okay, isn't debilitating. I really do. And if we can get his body right, I reckon we've got 2 real smokies moving forward in Brodie Kemp and Sam Philp. I really believe that. And the fact that we missed out on Tom Papley in the long run, I'm talking about the long run here now. I'm not talking about even 2022 next year. I'm talking about the long run over the next 2 or 3 years. I'm quietly confident that it was a blessing in disguise. What do you think? Catch you soon.